Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm just going to go over a little sort of amendment to Sean's video on the regearing video that he has on T4R Garage. So he does a good video about the whole regearing from East Coast Gear Supply. He has a limited though, so if you have an SR5 or one of the TRD Pro or off-road like I have, then you have a part-time four-wheel drive system, which I will cover that because he doesn't cover that because he has a full-time four-wheel drive system. And then if you have one of the TRDs, then you will have a locker. So I do cover that in this video too. Not so much the SR5 doesn't have a locker, so you can do it just like Sean did in his video. His video is really good, but he left those out, and he left those out not because he left them out, because his vehicle doesn't have those two items. So just know that I'm trying to cover those in this video. Watch his video for the rest of it, and hopefully that helps. And here we go.
And I had the e-locker, so the one guy that has some pretty good videos, usually I'll put his name in there after I research it. I just look up, it's the 4RT channel or something. Anyways, he obviously had an SR5 or a limited because he doesn't have a locker, so his section is round as opposed to this squared off section on the one with an e-locker. We have all of this stuff up here. I don't know how much you can see. We have all that disconnected except for the breather, but it's only coming out. So, like so far, you can see we've got a pretty good gap on it, but it's hanging up somehow. So when I figure out how to get this thing off, I will video that secret, because I could not find that secret on YouTube or the internet anywhere. I even did a ChatGPT inquiry to try to figure out what they could provide, and they didn't provide anything that was useful. So we'll keep at it, and then I will again decide, or put on there what we found out.
14 speed box.
Okay folks, so we did get the thing further off, as you can see here, but it's hanging up on the sway bar now. You do have to take the e-locker off, so that does slide off because it's the bolts that go on, the big studs that go through the e-locker mount. So we have that somewhere up here. I think it's right there. So that's out of the way. But once we get this far enough out, as you can see here, it does hit the sway bar, so we're going to loosen that up. If it goes much further, it's going to hit the skid plate for the gas tank, but I think we'll have it off before then. And I think it's clear over the sway bar over here, but it's just at the top and really on this side. It's already coming into contact right there, and I don't think it's going to make it past. So you do have to take the e-locker off, but it should just slide off, and then the rest of it should come off, but I'll update you after this. Well, as you can see, we got the whole thing out. We did need to take up the sway bar, so we, as you can see, took that off there, took it off there, and now I have it zip tied with a big heavy duty zip tie, so it's out of our way for installation. We're going to test fit it to make sure that we have everything where it needs to be. I'll take it off, or maybe I'll leave it up there. No, I have to take it off because I have to put the gasket sealer around there. And it is interesting that these two are longer than the other ones right here. All the other ones are kind of short. Then you have the two long ones if you have the e-locker, and that it does make the difference in how quickly it comes out. So the e-locker and all the brackets are up here right now. We just stuck them up there. It's a pretty good location for them, I think. So we're about to throw this thing up there to make sure. In fact, I'm not sure why we're going to test fit it. I think it's just trying to make myself feel good about this whole situation, but because it's heavy. So all right, well, I'll pick you up once we get it in there.
So I apologize for not capturing the complete uninstall and the install of the third member with the locker, but you take off the locker first. It comes off pretty easily. You put the unit on, the third member on, you put the locker on, and then reassemble everything. It actually makes it pretty easy. I did have to move the sway bar. I don't think Sean in his video moved the sway bar, Ours are different years, so maybe there's some sort of difference there. I'm not sure. But I will continue with the rest of the video. But again, I do apologize for not having that part of the video in there.
Okay, so a little update on the front. I figured I would provide this just for those of you, if you have an Apex, and maybe you don't even need to have an Apex sway bar disconnect. We did not have to take apart any of the lines here. In fact, I disconnected some of the bolts in there, which is what that bolt down there is. And that was unnecessary too, because the caliper can stay on, the tie rod can stay on. We did unseat the ball joint, as you can see down there. That's undone. And then other than that, that is pretty much the only thing we took apart was the ball joint. And then of course the axle nut. And you can actually, you have enough play to swing this out. Now, if you have a regular stock sway bar, I don't know that that's gonna work because I think that's pretty well attached to right here. So you're probably gonna at least have to take that off, but you don't have to take the arm off. I mean the steering knuckle and the brakes and the tie rod. So, and that was on both sides. That was on both sides, and as you can see, we got the axle out. We got the skid plates off, so now we're gonna start working on getting the CV axles out of the transmission, not transmission, the front differential. But first, I have to drain the fluid, otherwise I wanna make a giant mess. So I'm gonna do, once you take the ball joint out of the bottom, you have a lot of movement that you can do this with. So since the video I watched was obviously from a guy that had a limited, this does not come with that. It says to punch through from the other side, which it is open on this side. However, there's a pin in the middle. So that's probably gonna be kind of hard to do. And then it's supposed to go on there, which is, this is from my vehicle as well as that. So we have to move that over. And apparently this sleeve thing too right here, I guess, because that is not right there. So that's something that has to be arranged as well. So we'll see about that. And I'll tell you how we can get that off. And you're supposed to, maybe there's just some way to get across the other side past that pin and then punch this out, it says. To punch it out, which again seems very casual. It seems like kind of a super important part of the system. So hopefully my 4-wheel drive will work after this video is done and this install is done. Okay folks, so we got it out of the old one and it's sitting right here. So it's a pretty big gear. It is, so they say you can, it's the Toyota, or rather East Coast Gear Supply has a Toyota Tech on the clamshell stub, gear stub removal, whatever. Anyways, they do tell you to do it like either take 2 screwdrivers from either side, or you can punch it. We punched it with a screwdriver from the other side, so from way over here. So this was facing down when we did that.
That worked much better.
It comes out much better. I don't know how somebody gets it out, prying it with 2 screwdrivers at the same time. And then this thing, now it's not easily coming out. We just put it in. It does have this little flat part that was at the bottom of the other one. I don't know that that's important, but that's where I'm putting it in mine. So, and then the stub shaft will go in there like so. So we're gonna try to recess this down just a little bit further. And I think it just needs to be a little bit further down. I think there's a seat, there's a shelf right there. I think as you can see right here, it's probably might already be there, but that came out really easy. We just kind of lightly pried it with a screwdriver going around and it came pretty much right out. So this is, again, if you have a TRD off-road or maybe a TRD Pro or an SR5 with 4-wheel drive, I think the other YouTube channel, pretty sure he has a limited, because he has all-wheel drive all the time. So it doesn't have some of these mechanisms. It doesn't have the ADD module right there, which you have to unplug, and there's a breather right there. So these are a couple things that you're going to have to do. Additional, if you've watched that video, which is an overall good video, he has a lot of good torque specs on there, the general know-hows, but he does go through some of the stuff very quickly, like this and what you're going to do. Now, he really just kind of told you what to do here, because his system is, I wouldn't say entirely different, but quite a bit different compared to what we're dealing with here. But East Coast Gear Supply does have some tech articles that you can read that do help you with that. They'll show you pictures, description, and the pictures are color too, so that helps. So anyways, so we're gonna get this installed, and then I believe this is ready to go up on there again once we gloop it with some RTV. Okay, so one other thing that he had done that was a little different than me is, looked like he initially installed the bracket that has the breathers on the front differential, and then he took them off and said something about installing the front differential and then getting up there with your hands to install the bracket. I didn't see any way of doing that, so what I did was I installed the bracket first, and then kind of flopped it around, and then we sort of tightened it down a little bit, I believe, and then got it more tight once it was up there. And it is really hard to get to, so you can do it either way, it doesn't matter. And then the breather goes over sort of to the driver's side. I don't know, you really can't see where that stuff is, but it goes up to the side of like the not the firewall, but like it's almost on the fender is where it attaches to, you know, pretty much. So there's some clips that it goes on, but you can take the whole thing out. Anyways, I hope that helps. So the other thing I wanted to warn you about, and Chase Perry, the CEO of East Coast Gear Supply, responded to me on a Sunday afternoon within like 4 minutes of sending this out. I didn't expect to get a response back until like the next day, but I had engaged my e-locker, and of course I wish I had taken a picture of it, but I didn't know I screwed that up at the beginning, so everything is in there. If you do that, you can take the e-locker off, and then you can just slide, you can put a screwdriver in there and then slide the e-locker over. So if this were off, the e-locker would be poked out, sort of, I guess, on the side of the, you know, third member, and that would be disengaged. If it was in, obviously that would be engaged. So you want it out. So it is sort of counterintuitive to maybe install something when it's like poking out, but the poking out is the disengaged, and the in is the engaged. And you don't want to, you want to install it however you took it out, and most people would probably take it out unengaged, most likely. So you want to install it however you took it out. But anyways, hopefully that is helpful, and hopefully you don't do what I did, and then you have to take off the whole locker again. Just the locker. I mean, we didn't have to take off the rest of this stuff, but in any case, you know, hopefully that helps.
Well, folks, I hope you found this information helpful to kind of go along with his information that he had in his video. And I tried to cover the best I could. I apologize for not having a picture of the locker engaged and disengaged, but like I said, I had installed it before I realized I had that situation. But huge shout out to Chase and his group at East Coast Gear Supply for responding so quickly, and for being so good at customer service, as well as, you know, providing a good product. And I've had the gears in for over 1,000 miles, haven't had any issues. I have done the break-in fluid changes and stuff like that, and everything seems to be fine. So anyways, I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.